Before we begin, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for being part of the story. This happened when I used to work at a local pizza place. I mainly delivered pizzas, but I often helped make them when others were busy. One day, I came to work as usual. While on shift, I received an order from a customer at a particular house. As always, the order details included the customer's name, address, and a callback number. After placing the pizza dough in the oven, I called the provided number to confirm the order. The first time I called, I heard only a busy signal, indicating the line was busy. After a few seconds, I tried again. This time, the call connected, and it started ringing. However, it rang for an unusually long time. I assumed the customer wasn't going to answer, but just as I was about to hang up, someone picked up. "Hello, I'm calling from the pizza shop. I'm about to deliver your order, and I just want to confirm your..." However, as I spoke, I realized I was talking to myself. There was no response from the other end, only complete silence. Thinking it might be a signal issue, I hung up and called again. The same thing happened. Someone answered, but no one spoke. Just silence. Since I had all the necessary details, the recipient's name, phone number, and address, I decided to proceed with the delivery as usual. After all, someone had picked up. Even if they hadn't spoken, I figured it was just a bad connection. After hanging up, I busied myself folding pizza boxes and handling other small tasks. Moments later, the pizza was ready for delivery, so I set off on my route. The delivery destination wasn't far from our shop, about 30 minutes away. When I arrived at the entrance of the housing estate, I noticed that it was quite large, with many big houses. Even the security guard post was sizable, more like a small office than a simple booth. I approached the security guard and told him the house number I was delivering to. House number 34. The moment he heard the address, he froze, his expression shifting to confusion. He just stood there, looking stunned, then made a weird face before turning to glance at the other guard. The two guards exchanged glances with each other, equally confused. Then he turned back to me and asked again,
"What house number did you say?"
I repeated, 34. The security guard still looked confused and hesitated, but eventually, after checking my ID, he allowed me to enter, giving me directions to the house. As I drove into the estate, I noticed something unusual. Although there were plenty of houses, many appeared abandoned. In fact, it seemed like there were more vacant houses than occupied ones. After riding for a while, I found the alley the security guard had mentioned and started looking for house number 34. I found house number 32. Then I passed houses numbered 33 and then 35, but 34 was nowhere to be found. It should have been between 33 and 35, but nothing was there. I circled the area multiple times, trying to locate the house, but no matter how many times I looked, I couldn't find it. Left with no other choice, I decided to go back to the security post to ask for clarification. Upon reaching the guard post, I asked again, "Where exactly is house number 34? I looked everywhere but couldn't find it." The security guard reaffirmed,
"It's in that alley. You were in the right place."
Frustrated by the delay, I asked, "Can you come with me and show me exactly where it is?" Once again, the guards exchanged nervous glances before shaking their heads. One of them firmly replied,
"No, we're not going there. If you need help, go ask the security post inside the estate."
With no other choice, I rode my motorcycle deeper into the estate and stopped at the central security booth. There, I approached another guard and asked for directions to house number 34. As soon as he heard the address, his expression changed. His eyes widened, and he exclaimed,
"What house number did you say? 34?
34, I repeated. "Can you guide me there?" The security guard immediately cut me off.
Just go by yourself. Where did you come from just now anyway?"
I explained that the front gate security had directed me to an alley.
Yeah, that's right.
He said,
It's there. Look again. Look carefully. It's right there.
I couldn't hide my frustration. Why are the security guards in this estate so rude and unhelpful? I thought. I'm just asking for directions, but they act like they don't want to help. With time running out, I had no choice but to keep going. I rode into the alley once more, scanning both sides carefully, but the house was nowhere to be found. I passed house number 33, continued straight to house 35, and saw nothing in between. That's when I made a decision. I parked my motorcycle in front of house 35 and started walking back. As I carefully observed my surroundings more closely, something caught my attention. Between houses 33 and 35, the grass was wildly overgrown, unkempt and thick. But beyond the tangled weeds, I could just make out the faint outline of a house. Slowly, I pushed my way through, brushing aside the tall grass, until I reached an iron gate. Near the iron fence, I came to a stop. I decided to use the flashlight on my cell phone to get a better look, and when I did, I saw the weathered sign, number 34. A chill ran down my spine the moment I saw it. I looked around and quickly realized the house was abandoned. Dust covered everything, and an eerie silence filled the air. I double-checked the delivery details. Everything matched. It was definitely this house. Feeling uneasy, I decided to call the number again. The first time I called, the line was still busy. I called again, and this time it connected, but no one answered. Then something unsettling happened. As the phone rang in my ear, another phone began to ring. The sound came from inside the abandoned house. A phone was ringing from within. I peered through the window, but the house was pitch dark. No lights, no glowing phone screens, as you'd expect when a phone rings, but there was nothing. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, the ringing stopped. At the exact same moment, my call was answered. I swallowed and opened my mouth to speak, but before I could say a word, what I heard on the other line made my blood run cold. A woman's voice, crying. A slow, heartbreaking sob. A shiver ran through my entire body. Without thinking, I hung up and bolted for my motorcycle. My hands trembled as I fumbled to start the engine. Just as I twisted the handlebar, the headlight swept across the front yard, its beam landing on a spot. That's when I saw her, a woman. She stood in front of the house, her eyes locked on mine. Next to her was a child. She held the child's hand. Both of them stood there, staring straight at me. Then, slowly, she raised a hand and beckoned me to come closer. That was it. I couldn't bring myself to wait another second. I gave it full throttle and sped off, not looking back. Before I knew it, I had reached the main security checkpoint at the entrance. My heart was still pounding as I breathlessly told the security guard everything. I then asked why no one had warned me that the house I was looking for was haunted. But the guard only sighed and said,
What am I supposed to say? You were so determined to go there no matter what. I didn't know how to stop you. Besides, at first, I thought maybe you just had the wrong address.
He went on to explain that the house had been abandoned long before he started working there. Still shaken, I called the pizza shop and reported everything to the manager, but the manager didn't believe me. Instead, he scolded me, accusing me of either getting lost or slacking off somewhere and taking too long with the delivery. Terrified and frustrated, I finally snapped, "If you don't believe me, then I quit. Find someone else to do the deliveries." Hearing my frustration, the manager told me to come back and talk things over. When I returned to the pizza shop, everyone checked the system to review the order history, but there was no record, no trace that an order had ever come from that house. The only proof that the order had ever existed was the printed receipt, still attached to the delivery box. I still don't know if the order was ever placed, but how else could I have gotten that specific house number and all the other details? That delivery is something I'll never forget.